It's 6:05 on April the 3rd, 2019. I'd like to start the meeting by inviting Father Justin to give us the prayer. Father Justin is from the St. Peter and Paul Orthodox Christian Church. Thank you, Father. You bet.
O Lord Jesus Christ, our God, we ask you to send down your Holy Spirit upon us and bless us here as we gather, O Lord, to lead us to make holy decisions, O Lord, to bless your world, O Lord, to bless and protect all the people we're responsible for, O Lord, to lead us all to paradise. We ask you to bless us and have mercy on us through the Holy Spirit, O Lord Jesus Christ, O God, have mercy on us and save us. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. I've asked Ty Jones to come give us, lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
All will rise. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ty. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Approval of the March 20th, 2019 City Council meeting and work session. Proclamation for Arbor Day, which will be celebrated on April 25th, realizing that the actual day is the 26th, but we will celebrate on the 25th. Resolution, M&G Hyatt Subdivision Deferral Agreement. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. We'll start with the roll call vote, starting with Councilwoman Hyatt.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, we'll go to C, petitions, public forum. Anyone can speak on items that are not on the agenda. Please keep your comments short if you could, 3 minutes or less. So we'll go ahead and open that if anyone would like to come up and talk to us. Okay, not seeing any, we'll move on to staff and staff and council reports. Any staff would like to come and talk to us?
Mayor and Council, I'll try to be brief, but we have snow. I'll start with the snow. So we still have 62 inches up at the Snowtail site with 157% precipitation and 144% snow water, which is good because it is going down, which is what we want. We don't want it to all stay up there and then melt all at once in June. So hopefully that's in a good trend. Just a couple of other things we've got so far this year already. We have 40 single-family permits that we've already pulled for new homes and 14 townhomes, so it's been busy already. We just started work back up on the RV park again. We've cleaned out the Dry Creek and the Petite Neat channels, and we even did a section over in the Maples to stabilize the bank that was eroding with some rock, so we've been pretty busy. The water department's been clearing out their ditches to deliver water to the Oldfield area, and we've filled up the ponds, so we're just waiting for the Highline to give us water, and then we can start the PI system, so it's pretty close. The one bad news is we got the engineer's estimate this week on the sewer project that we need to do where we had the sewer collapse last year. And the engineer's estimate is $3.2 million to do that. So we don't have an option. It's out to bid. We'll find out on the 18th what that is, but just so you know that it's going to be a very expensive project to fix. So I don't know if you have any questions after all that.
Thank you.
That's really
Thanks, Travis.
Yes, my news is lots better than Travis's. Just a end of month report from the police department from March. We had 100 arrests, 182 offenses, 163 citations, which resulted in 224 violations, 950 case reports, 2 DUIs, 356 traffic stops, and 28 traffic accidents. So a bit busy last month. As you've seen in the news, we had a few drug busts over the last couple of weeks. We've been working with our partners in Utah County's a few departments, so we've been quite busy in that area. Our newest officer is off field training on his own now, so we're glad to have that extra body out there. That's about all. We've been helping the high school with some of their events, had a dance and a few weeks ago, and just been getting ready for all of our busy ones.
Yeah. Were you going to let us know about Lieutenant Porter?
Oh, geez, I spaced that off. Lieutenant Porter, last Wednesday night at the Utah State Chiefs of Police Conference was awarded a Police Officer of the Year. So congratulate him, and that was a good honor for him.
Is he on duty tonight?
No, he's got home.
We need to bring him in.
I can certainly have him bring his award in next time.
Yes.
You bet. Would love to have him do that, Chief.
All right, thank you.
Mayor, council, public, first I'd like to apologize the way I'm dressed tonight. I got kind of caught doing this, which brings me up. I'm going to update you on what we're doing out here on the remodel. We have hoping the sound system will be better when we remodel in here, by the way. It doesn't sound like good out there. But we have cabinets. The main cabinet will be in a week from Friday, so by next council meeting you should see a big change there. Tomorrow I'll frame in the rest of the office, the doorway and stuff like that, so we can kind of get to see what's happening. Sarah's been really good. We've got everything coordinated with paint, everything. So I would think within 3 weeks that should be pretty much wrapped up. And then we'll, in the meantime, we'll start in the foyer here. So we might have some little growing pains in here when we change the door and some different things. But we're going to go this, and then we're going to revisit inside here after that. So that's on the remodel. On the golf end, we did get our men's opening social in last Saturday, which is good with the weather. We had around 60 players. It was a little less than normal. We usually get around 70, but I think with the weather and spring break falling, some people were out of town. Ladies Association will start up next week. I met with them. Or next month, excuse me, I met with them last week, and they've got their schedule, so they're excited to go. And we've been, it's been good. We've been busy when the weather's been good. We had a great fall, and then we lost a lot of momentum with the fire. You know, I'm still getting phone calls to see if we're open with the fire, so they think that we kind of burned, but we see some momentum there. On the cemetery, I met with Todd today. We went over Memorial Day, and I says, even if there's mushrooms, please make it green. So that's our goal. It's going to be green and pretty. So, and I think we'll have plenty of water. Yeah. Other than that, we're hiring all of our part-time. We're trying to get our staff, our full staff on parks, cemetery. We've had some kids there with spring break this week, so that's been good. That's all I have. Any questions?
I got something just to let the people know here in the audience. You know, we're doing this remodel. It's been quite some time since anything has been done with this area, especially in here, since around 1985. So it's something that we believe its time is due. So thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
So do we have to wait till everything's done before we get new chairs?
In here?
No, we have budget. I talked to Steve to see if we could get some in here so you guys can sit and see which ones you
Oh,
prefer.
okay.
So
I thought I heard
I'll follow
that
up with
rumor.
him and see if he's got those lined up.
But just to prepare you, when we come into this building, we're going to come back or into this room, and we'll have to come back for more money.
Oh,
Yeah.
well.
Because, Teresa, what do you have?
You didn't say that before.
Well, and again, when we come in this room, I'm hands off, so it's just that'll go out a bit. But to put in perspective, the sound system in this room was $100,000 just to change all the sound and different things. So our original budget, we're doing the best we can, trying to save as much money as we can through the 2 rooms. But when we revisit this with the plan and stuff, we'll have to decide, you know, budget-wise what we need to do.
That's why I brought up it hasn't been done since 1985.
Yeah, it needs to be done. There's no question. Thank you.
I just want to remind everybody that the Park Tax Committee applications are due next Tuesday, and the Park Tax Grants applications are due next Tuesday as well. So for the public and council, Let's get that word out. We have 2 applications so far for the park tax committee, so.
Have we advertised that?
We put it in the paper, and I believe it went on Facebook, I'll check again, it went on Facebook. I don't know if we put it on the sign, I'll check,
I think I saw it, but I couldn't swear to it.
yeah, but, yeah, I'll have it posted again on all those and try to get the word out.
Any other staff would like to come speak? Okay, we'll move on to council reports, starting with Councilwoman Hyatt. Brett's not here to say that I'm discriminating.
I always take everything away from you. No, I just want to thank the people who help me every time I walk in and just have a bunch of questions. You're all knowledgeable, and I appreciate that you know what you're doing. Just keep up the good work. Sorry that you're being flattened with a lot of work, but we're happy about that too. So keep a positive attitude.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say other than that I can tell you that all residents of Payson are either really happy or really upset that we have another Mexican restaurant coming to town. I've seen that firsthand. But there is some growth, and we're excited. We also appreciate the streets crew. I know there's a lot of potholes, and we've got a lot of streets and a lot of potholes that need to be fixed, but we appreciate the streets crew out there working hard every day. There's a lot of street miles. For anyone here, if you've got a pothole, you can always call dispatch, let them know, and they will take care of it where they can, if at all possible. If the road's just broken up, that's a bigger issue, but that's all I have.
Okay, I'm going to take the opportunity to let those in the audience know that there was an item on the agenda regarding the Holdaway annexation. That's going to be tabled tonight, just in case you're here. We would like you to stay here if you would like, but if you're here for that, would want to let you know that that's going to be tabled at the applicant's request. So just let you know that. Also, I would like to talk about the efforts that are going into the Dry Creek cleaning. We've had some volunteer groups that have been out and started cleaning. Chief Scott Spencer has been coordinating that with the local groups. So we'd like to compliment Chief Spencer and also those that have volunteered. And that will be a work in progress. That'll continue. So thank you.
I'd like to mention that I went with Dave Tuckett, our city manager, and we rode around Payson. We visited Dry Creek and walked down the trail after they'd cleaned it, and I was amazed at what they have taken down so far in that Dry Creek. I don't know if any of you are familiar with where it is, but there's a beautiful walking trail, and they've cut down trees, bushes that were so overgrown, and it looks so good. So I appreciate that. And I do know that different stakes in the city have arranged for members. They've taken a Saturday that they're going to also do the Dry Creek in different areas. So it's a good project, and if you're looking for service to do, please come out and join. It's nice to do that. Also, we rode around and looked at all the new building that's going in, and how many we're expecting here, and it's going to be good to have new citizens that will be joining Payson. So I appreciate the crew for all they do, and I think that's all I've got.
I've just got a few things here. First, if you've been on KSL, they have a high school bracket challenge.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sorry, Doug, but Salem's out, but Payson is in the final 4. So if you want, and we're at 14 seeds. So if you want to go on KSL and vote for Payson for the high school of the the best high school, then that'd be great. So another thing is going along with our remodeling. It's nice to see this happening, but I was in a meeting this week where somebody wanted to use our restrooms. It was so nice to be able to tell them that the restrooms are there and they were fixed, and we didn't have to tell them to fix new, but it was really nice to be able to be proud of our restrooms. So on the Mexican restaurants, it's free enterprise. Anybody can come and have any kind of restaurants they want. So we're just happy that they want to be here. So anyway, but it's free enterprise, so we have no control over that.
People follow that particular restaurant too, so we could get some other mileage off of other companies that want to come.
And then going back to what Linda said about Dry Creek, if you want to help with that, if you go into Just Serve, it's a website called Just Serve. You can find out where things are in Payson to be able to volunteer. And then that was it. Thanks.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Was supposed to be for scout attendance certificates. I don't see any scouts here tonight. If there are, it'll be surprising to me. Okay, we'll move on to number 4, Chamber Business of the Month. Ty Jones.
Mayor, council, public, can you hear me?
It's on.
Anyway, I'm sporting my new vest. All the board of directors purchased a vest, just kind of unify us and I guess really celebrate the chamber, and we're really committed to getting the chamber out there and letting people know who's on the board and everything. Just to report, our magazines came out for the Payson Santa Clara Area Chamber of Commerce. I have some extra copies that I'll leave.
Can I comment on that real quick?
Yes, please.
I was actually going to take some pictures of those and send them out. There's some really good information in those. They were really well done. I was impressed, and I meant to put that out on my social media, but just so you know, and the chamber knows, really well done.
They were great.
It was a team effort, but a lot of credit goes to our executive director.
Yeah, they were wonderful.
She did an awesome job with that. Also, just to update everyone, on April 10th, which is next Wednesday, we have what's called Get Your Business Online. We partnered with Google as a chamber, and we're having a professional presentation on updating things online. And so we'd like to invite anyone who's interested. You don't have to be a member. You don't even have to own a business. Just come and support. Obviously, we want people to get registered. So the link is here on the flyer. And so I'll leave those here if anyone is interested. The other thing I want to mention, we have Justin Anthony from Senator Mike Lee's office coming to address us at our next Breakfast Club. That is going to be Tuesday, April 16th, and that is 8 a.m. And we're meeting at Payson Bible Church. And I'll leave these flyers here. The third Tuesday of May, we're going to have the Candy Bomber come and address us for our Breakfast Club. He was supposed to come in February, but he took a spill the night before, and being as old as he is, 97, I think, takes a toll on you. But he wants to come down, so we scheduled him for May. And I guess I want to turn some time over to our executive director, who has update on some Valley issues.
Good evening. I'm doing great. I already forgot my vest. So, yeah, we do what we can.
I just wanted to update you a little bit about a Valley Visioning Summit that is going to be coming up. Brian had called me about it. I sent out an email about it. A few things have changed. It is on April 17th. This is a continuation of the couple things that they've done. This is the second time, or the second annual Valley Visioning Summit. It is actually going to only be from 9 to 1. They changed the schedule. I think some feedback that was going to be too long. But this will be a continuation of our town hall kind of meeting that we had at T-Meet, that most of you were there, where we did that mapping exercise. They will talk about what findings they found, and actually shout out to Payson. We actually had one of the highest attended meetings, and they were very impressed with our participation. Just to go over a little bit of what the agenda is, they're going to go over those findings, but then they're also going to put us into groups and now start to form groups so that we can focus on different themes. They'll be focusing on water, transportation, housing, workforce, clean air. So those 5 groups, and then we'll start together to form task groups going out on that. There is a registration fee of $50. That is to cover the food that they're giving us and also the place that they're holding it. It should be a really great summit. It's great for the chamber to be involved with all the other chambers in sponsoring this, and so we're really proud of the work that we're doing for that and what Payson is doing to help in conjunction with that. Senator or John Curtis, John Curtis is going to be there as the keynote speaker. So that'll be a great thing for him to, he's very involved with the work of, especially of Utah County and South Utah County. So just wanted to talk a little bit about that and hope that whoever can come, that's April 17th.
The convention center in Provo, is that right?
Yes. Very much.
Just a couple more items. The magazine that was sent out, I believe 1 or 2 issues had a glitch. We're working with the printer, and we were told that they are resending out the magazines to 84651. To correct that. What's that? No. The glitch was they made a mistake and missed some pages, and so they'll be resending that out. The other update, we're putting the final touches on the billboard, which should be going up this month. So we're excited for that. But let's get to the reason we're here. That is to recognize the business of the month. And that is Ryan Mortgage Company. I'll just read this real quick. Ryan Mortgage Company began in Payson in 2007. Our owner and CEO, John Ryan, has 30+ years in the mortgage industry. Our second owner and president, Ryan Devenish, has been with us since the start and is frequently involved in many community events and fundraisers in southern Utah County. We have a total of 6 fantastic loan officers: John Ryan, Ryan Devenish, Sarah Larson, Rochelle Nunley, Mary Priest, and Scott Harrison. Our company provides multiple options for all kinds of mortgages and reverse mortgages, and we will soon have a sister company to provide commercial loans. We pride ourselves in personal customer service and look forward to helping everyone we can meet so they can meet their mortgage needs. So with that, congratulations, Ryan. Would you come up here?
Well, I'd like to say thank you so much. We appreciate it. We do love to give back to the community, so if there's anybody we can help, we love so. And thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It do a lot for the veterans home, really involved there, and we appreciate that, and we as a chamber have noticed. But we'd like a picture, if that's okay. And we're gonna do one serious one without hats, and then Ryan has some hats for us for a picture.
If it's okay, if it's
okay.
not, I totally understand. It's not fine, but.
If you don't want to wear them, just hold them up.
I'm a hat person, so that's good.
I like that. I like that.
I thought it'd be fun, but I said, I don't want to.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Give it right here for you.
Are you all looking at me? There's Teresa. I'm like, I can't see everybody. Okay.
Now, is your
I'm okay with
first
it.
name Ryan?
Ryan, yeah, I'm Ryan Devish.
Okay. All right. I'm good.
Look how cute y'all are.
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice
Keep
to
the hat.
meet
Thanks,
you.
guys. Nice to meet you.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Nice meeting y'all. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
Why don't you come on? We're gonna be able to see you stand. John's here.
Should have been up there.
Okay, we'll go on to presentation discussing discussion regarding National Leagues of Cities Service Line Warranty Program. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you for having me here. I never get tired of coming to Utah and looking at that ugly view. I mean, seriously, every time I come here and I look around, I'm just like, you know, if you lived here, I think I would just get to the point where I couldn't stop looking at nothing.
And we take it for granted, so thank you for mentioning it.
Which, speaking of, if there's some issues with potholes, I'd be happy to do some videoing of the
So I've been to Birmingham, I've been a lot of places through the United States, and as bad as people think roads are here, they're not.
No, not at all. I can attest to that.
Overall.
So, yes, my name is Dennis Lyon, and I'm with the National League of City Service Line Program. And what I'm here for today is, I'm sorry? Well, it's not necessary because the PowerPoint that I have is in the folders, but if we can connect to it, if we can.
Love to see it.
If we have the right hookups.
Do you have one of those?
I think I have the
If not, we can then just wireless thing.
Yeah, I have the old style VGA connections.
Do the function button in your screen.
Yeah, I didn't know if this capability was available right now, so I usually, it's kind of a when I show up. Oh, that's fine.
You don't have it on your phone, do you?
Connected to. This laptop is old. It's due to be replaced. Sorry about that. At any rate, so the PowerPoint that I'm going to be going through, you have in your folders. I apologize to members of the public that don't have the ability to display it, but
You want a mobile hub?
I do, but it doesn't seem to be connecting for some reason. Well, I'm connected to the,
It's connected, it just won't.
to the
recognize
hotspot
the
council room.
projector.
Okay. Yeah, it's, yeah, the projector, unfortunately, isn't showing that. At any rate, the reason I'm here is, this conversation on our program started between myself and David Tuckett and I believe the Public Works Director towards the end of 2017 regarding our program. And what I've been doing is updating Mr. Tuckett anytime there are any kind of changes or things of interest. And I think he felt like it was time for me to come in and go through the specifics of what it is that we do, how we do it, why we do it the way we do it, so on. So the nutshell of what our program is it proactively educates homeowners on what their lateral line responsibilities are, their portion of the water and sewer line. And then it offers them a completely voluntary solution that they can participate in to protect themselves should there be any kind of issues. So I'm going to run through, who we are and how we do that and why we do it and so on. So first off, I work for a company called Utility Service Partners, and we're the administrators of this program. So I'd like to let you know a little bit about who we are, our background. So we've been offering these services for 16 years now. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. We have a 95% customer satisfaction rating that we've maintained for the past 11 consecutive years, 95% or higher actually. And we've also twice been awarded from the Southwestern Pennsylvania Better Business Bureau the Torch Award for Marketplace Ethics. So once in 2013 and then just again in 2018 we got that award. So that is something that we're very proud of as a company because we strive to do everything completely above board. Everything is transparent. Everybody sees what it is that occurs with our program, right? So that's where the National League of Cities got involved. They were aware of programs like ours and they wanted to make one available all across the U.S. with their name and their endorsement. So they did the research and the vetting of the handful of companies that do this type of thing, and we were the company that they chose to make it available. You don't have to be a member of the National League of Cities to participate, though. As far as our reputation goes, of course, we have the endorsement of the National League of Cities. We do now also have the endorsement of the Utah League of Cities and Towns, as well as 15 other state leagues and other various councils of government and so on. And partnership is something that we do. We're the only company that makes our program available to a city and to homeowners through a partnership with that city or that community. And I'm going to explain how it is that works. Our company conducts Harris polls from time to time, just to kind of take a pulse on homeowner finance, homeowner situations, what have you. And there's a sheet in there that has some bullet points. I'd like to point to the bottom one. This is one that I think is critical. 80% of respondents to our survey either strongly or somewhat agreed with the statement that local community governments should be responsible for educating homeowners about their external water and sewer line, meaning the portion they're responsible for should there be an issue with it that's not covered by the city or the utility. Interestingly enough, I believe it was in December of 2017, the state of Utah passed a law, Utah State Bill 45, which says that homeowners need to be educated twice a year as to what their service line responsibilities are. So they see that as being an issue because cities do their part on the public side to maintain and upgrade the infrastructure, but homeowners side of it kind of gets left behind in that process. So that's where we come in. Our program actually is a proactive education 3 times a year, so it satisfies the requirements of Utah SB 45, and it also offers a voluntary solution. So, as I mentioned, our program helps address the public policy issue of aging underground infrastructure. The way we make it available to a community is there is absolutely no cost to the city to participate in the program. There are no public funds used in promoting the program. We provide it with a complete turnkey approach, so what that means is we take care of the marketing, the billing, the claims, and the customer service. You don't have to do any of that. And there's also a component of our program that's an ongoing revenue stream that the city can choose to participate in, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And actually, there's something in your packet that Orem right up the road here did with the funds that they that they accrued by participating in our program. So really the ultimate way to think of our program is it's a free public awareness campaign for the city. What it is that we do is we send a letter out to homeowners. That letter explains to them what their responsibility is for their portion of lines, explains to them that this program is being made available to them via a partnership with the city, not by the city itself, and it directs them to reach out to us to inquire about it. It explains to them that it's completely voluntary to them. They're not required to participate. They have to opt in if they want to. That all three products that are offered are completely separate. They can choose any combination that they would like. And also that they can enroll in whichever manner they would like. So if they prefer to fill out the form that we send, they want to go to the website, they want to call, whatever they're most comfortable with. So what that letter does, again, is it educates them about those responsibilities. So the nice thing about that is even homeowners who choose not to participate in the protections for whatever their reasoning is, they've at least been proactively educated as to what their responsibilities are. So at a bare minimum, it should help reduce the number of calls that come into the city from homeowners that have a problem on their portion of the line. For the ones who do participate, they get the peace of mind of knowing that for just a few hours a month, they've transferred the rest of the lines over to us. When they have an issue, they give us a call. It's a toll-free number. We have 2 call centers. One of them is just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The other is in Chattanooga, Tennessee, staffed with live human beings, 24 hours a day, every single day of the year, including holidays. And when it calls with that issue, we dispatch a local contractor to handle that issue. So another benefit of our program to a community is we reach out and find a local contractor to become part of our network, so that when we're paying that contractor for completing those repairs, that money stays in your community, it stays in your economy. The other reason, of course, is local contractors should know all the local codes, they should know what permits they need, therefore the work is all done up to the city standards, and like our contractors like to say, done right the first time. Which I think is a very good point, that they get it right because they know what they're doing, it's their business. Those contractors that we reach out to, when they express an interest in working with us and becoming part of our network, we put them through a very stringent vetting process for 3 reasons. Really, we want to make sure homeowners are comfortable with who's coming to make the repairs. We want to make sure you city officials are comfortable with who we're sending to make those repairs. And we have a reputation on the line as well. So we want to make sure that the people that we're sending out are reputable, trustworthy, and know what they're doing. So we make sure that they're licensed, bonded, insured, have all the necessary equipment available to make the repairs, that they've got no open complaints with the Better Business Bureau. And then we go another step further and we administer background checks and drug screens on the individuals that work for the companies as well. So, you know, it's something that we take very seriously. I can tell you, Mac Plumbing and Heating in Layton is the contractor that we have that's handling Warren currently. So if you all were to work with us, we would want to find somebody even closer, if not right in Payson. Excuse me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the coverage so you know what it is that homeowners get for their participation. So I cover the water and the sewer line at the same time because they're set up the same way. And what this is it's protection. I believe, I don't have the term sheet in front of me, but I think the responsibility, homeowner responsibility on the water line here is from the meter to where the line enters the home, is that correct? And then on the sewer, it's from the main to where it enters home? Okay. So on those portions of those lines, if there's any type of issue at all that a homeowner has, broken, cracked, leaking pipe, tree root penetration, a clog that needs to be cleared out, external water lines that are frozen that need to be thawed, they give us a call. We dispatch the contractor to take care of that issue for them. What that homeowner gets is up to $8,500 per occurrence. So every single time they have an issue, there's up to $8,500 available to cover that issue for them. That does cover public street, public sidewalk cutting if necessary. There are no annual or lifetime limits on that coverage. There's no deductible that the homeowner has to meet before the coverage begins. And there's not even a service fee for that contractor being dispatched. And there's no limitation on the number of service calls either. So every time there's an issue, call us up, we dispatch the contractor to address that for them. We don't do long-term contracts with homeowners. Everything is on a month-to-month basis, so you can opt out at any time you would like. Nobody's locked into anything long-term. We also don't do pre-inspections, so when someone signs up for our coverage, after a 30-day waiting period, that coverage begins for them. And then next, we have a product that we added a few years after we were into this, and this was at the request of some of our existing city partners, because there was kind of a gap there. This is our in-home plumbing and drain coverage. And what this does is it covers all water, sewer, and drain lines that are inside that home after the point of entry, and it does include lines that are embedded underneath the concrete slab or under the basement floor as well. Excuse me, that offers up to $3,000 per occurrence. And again, broken, cracked, leaking pipes, even just a clog that needs to be cleared out, or a clogged toilet even is part of that coverage as well. And everything is set up the same, no annual or lifetime limits, no deductibles, no service fees, et cetera, no contracts, and so on. And the reason we do that, the reason we set our coverage up that way is we've noticed that homeowners who participate in our coverage are much more proactive in getting their issues taken care of because they know they're not gonna have to pay $50 or $75 or $100 for the plumber to show up. They know they're not gonna be facing a massive bill to replace a water line or a repair to a sewer line or what have you. So that benefits everybody, makes the neighbors happy, makes the city happy, makes that homeowner happy. So now I'm going to talk about that revenue component a little bit. The way that works is the city would receive, if you wanted to participate in this, you can opt out of that, and I'll explain how that works as well. But the city would receive 50 cents per month for each one of those paid warranty agreements, for as long as they're enforced. That gets paid out in the form of a royalty each January. So using the example of a homeowner that would enroll in all three products, the city would receive $1.50 per month for as long as those agreements are enforced. You can use those funds wherever you see fit as a municipality to make your community better. Some examples, some cities will supplement low-income utility assistance programs. Some will use it to offset the cost of a water bill if someone has a leak. Some will donate to charity, and that's typically what ORM does, but the case study that I included in your folders a couple of years ago, they put funds that they made from our program towards building that all-abilities playground in the community, which is by far the coolest thing that I've seen any city do with the revenue that they've made with our program to improve their community. Use it towards your NLC or state use what have you. But like I said, you can also opt out. If you opt out of that, participating in that royalty, we don't keep that revenue. We then pass that savings directly on to the homeowner. So each one of those products would decrease by 50 cents a month for the homeowner. Marketing approach, we only market by direct mail. So I know a lot of times city officials have concerns about telemarketers or people going door to door. We don't do that. We don't overwhelm people with direct mail either. We have 3 mail campaigns maximum that we do per year. Excuse me. Those letters that go out, like I said, they educate, inform, and explain how everything works and, you know, that it's voluntary and so on. Those letters before, part of this partnership is those letters before they're ever mailed, we send to the city for your review and approval. That way you can have input on that message, and I know Clearfield City likes to personalize their letter. I believe Orem does as well. And once you've approved it, you know exactly what it is we're mailing out to homeowners. So that's where that transparency is. You know what's being sent because you've seen it and you've approved it. What the city's role also is in that is what we ask for is use of the city logo and a generic signature from the city on that marketing material. So that's another reason I like to stress we would never mail anything to any homeowner here first without the partnership of the city, and second, without the city's approval of that marketing material before it's ever sent. So even though we manage every aspect, you still have complete control over whether or not we send out any mail to homeowners. And we currently, the slide, the number of states slide, I do apologize, that was just updated at the end of our fiscal year and I forgot to change it. But we've got over 650 partners now in 41 states. And in Utah, we are currently working with Clearfield, Orem, Kaysville, and Salt Lake City. And just kind of some odds and ends that I like to mention as well. Your endorsement of our program does not equal exclusivity. What I mean by that is if you partner with us to make the program available, we don't ask you to keep out any would-be competitors. So homeowners still have their choice over who it is they would like to work with, if any one of them. We're currently serving over 3.7 million customers. We completed 1.34 million jobs over the last 3 years, so we average one repair every 63 seconds. So we're out there getting it done. We've saved customers over $454 million in repair costs over the last 3 years. We have a 97% claims approval rating, and I know that's something that's extremely important. So again, we have a reputation at stake. We wouldn't have the endorsements and the associations that we have if we weren't doing what it is that we say we're going to do. 99.6% claim satisfaction rate. So when we complete a job, 99.6% of the time people are satisfied. The other 0.4% of the time we're working with them to make sure we get it right and make them happy. Because again, that's something we take very seriously. Over 1,400 contractors in our network as of this time. And lastly, 9 of every 10 of our customers says that they recommend our program to friends, neighbors, and relatives because it's worked so well for them. And I know that is an awful lot of information. Are there any questions that you have at this time or anything that jumped out at you?
I stepped up for a second. What's the total cost of all 3 of your products?
Okay, so if you were to participate in the royalty component, I'll give you those prices, and then each one of those would decrease by 50 cents if you did. So the water protection is only $5.75 a month with the royalty. The sewer is only $7.75 a month with the royalty, and then the in-home plumbing is only $9.99 a month with the royalty. So our pricing structure is set up so that folks that are most vulnerable to having serious financial difficulties in water line or sewer line issues can participate, and they can choose, of course, as well. So if you've got a brand new sewer line, but you don't know what's going on with your water line, you know, you can put protection just on the water line, $5.75 a month, and skip a couple of coffees, and you know, you've got that taken care of.
So on your well service lines, what does that entail?
I'm sorry?
So it says covers well service lines if applicable.
Yeah, so well and septic lines are included in the water and the sewer coverage. It's for the lines themselves. So our protection is for the lines. So, you know, pumps, septic tanks, you know, those types of things wouldn't fall into that scope of coverage. It's for the actual pipes.
The pipes out of the house or out of the septic tank?
Well, the external water coverage and the external sewer coverage is everything from the wall of the home out. And then the internals from the wall of the home in.
And so what would it be for the well?
Whatever portion of that line runs from.
Oh, from the well to the house?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I think it's a great product. I don't, you know, I think it would be something that's just me, but that we would love to make available to our citizens.
Mark, I have a question for you. In endorsing one company, what's the liability with that? You know, usually you try to say we have these 3 or so companies that we put out there. So what's the liability of endorsing just one company?
As far as endorsing them or indicating that they presented to us and you know, as long as we aren't representing something that we are a part of or those type of things, but it's been presented to us and we're making this available to our citizens, I don't see a legal ramification back to us. Same as the League of Cities and Towns, the Utah League of Cities and Towns, they would put their logo and just indicate that they endorse it or they reviewed it and suggest that the citizens do the same, that type of scenario. And whether they have an opportunity to review the material that goes out that would reference us, I think that gives us a good opportunity to stay at a level of minimal, if no risk.
So if our logo is on there, what they send out, or you're still
it would be similar to, if you take a look at their slide presentation, the National League of Cities and Towns is there, and this is their logo, the utility services providers. But they're just indicating that they looked at this and they don't have any problems with it, that type of scenario. I think if we stay at that level and not put out things such as we encourage you to get this and encouragement or that indicate we reviewed it and ask our citizens to do the same, to review it, take on their own responsibility for reviewing it. I think that we'd be on set for that.
So it's just a service that we're making available. We're not making it mandating. Yeah, just making it available. Now, does our city logo go on the paperwork as they send it out as well? That's what I thought I read.
Yes, yes. And one thing I'd like to point out too, since you asked about liability, since we're administering the program, there's indemnification language in the agreement that we have with the city, so you're completely indemnified and held harmless. I can tell you that there has not yet in the history of our company been any legal action where a homeowner has named a city in a suit. If there is a dispute, it's between the homeowner and the contractor, and we actually take the lead in that, in their defense. And we would do the same for the city if someone ever did name the city in a suit, but in 16 years it still hasn't happened because it's always, they're not happy with it. I know there was an example, I can't remember if it was in Clearfield City or Orem, but I heard our contractor services, I overheard them talking about it. There was a homeowner that was not happy with the color gravel that was used for fill, and we took care of that one.
For the fill?
Yes, they didn't like it. In case some of it were to somehow work its way up and show they weren't happy with it. We had we take the contractor and change it for them.
Are we looking for some kind of action, just in general, the information?
It's on our agenda just for a discussion.
Okay.
If the council chooses to do something, we can bring a resolution back in the next consent agenda and initiate something in that direction.
I believe that what I've provided is it's on the last page of the presentation, is the term sheet. So what I'll do is I'll send Mr. Tuckett the marketing agreement so that he can pass that along to the city attorney for review. And then the next time you bring it back, all of that will be taken care of, and you can make a determination then. And I feel about making it available. One thing I want to mention too, since you brought up the mailings by the Utah League of Cities and Towns. You all will, I'm not sure if it's limited to just mayors or if they take all city officials, but there will be a regular mailing, not an email, coming out with that letter of endorsement from them. So you'll see that, and I'm also going to email a copy of it to Mr. Tuckett.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Similar to what this has got the national links on here. I would imagine they would use our logo in the local area in the same manner. I would not be surprised because that's how they use the I don't know whether endorsing is the correct term, but the lease.
The get part approved.
Some people prefer the term partner. You know, partnered, endorsed, are usually the two that I do. So it really matters.
And the term sheet was in your packet, and in brief look, it looks like they're identical to what was in your packet. So if you have a chance to look at that, it would be the same that was presented tonight.
It's something we can take up maybe next council meeting, but for my part, I think it sounds like a great product.
Yeah, and I think to Brian's comment, I think the bigger concern is like if Payson said, all right, taco time, here's our seal of approval, but Taco Bell doesn't get it, that would cause big problems. And so I think the concern is more with that we're not choosing one company selectively over another one, because that does create problems in the community.
Not even said that anybody, any other companies could come in and do it. I'm just glad he came in and did it. I didn't even really know that there was something out there like that.
There are very few companies across the entire United States that do this. So
we don't have anybody in town that I'm aware of that does it, so it's not.
So the chance that would happen with our particular type of service is pretty much slim to none. I mean, at that point, it does come up a lot. And
Yeah.
I do
Well, I just think that's more the root of the concern, I think, and not where the logo goes on the.
Oh, certainly, certainly.
Yeah, the product's great.
Right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
You too. Enjoy the mountains.
I will.
Gonna go skiing while you're here?
I'm flying back tomorrow, so unless I got time tonight,
Well, they do have night skiing.
and I don't think I've skied in probably 35 years, and when I did, it was about once a year. Do you have any bunny hills?
I was gonna say a lot of snow plowing, birds.
Well, we don't want to hurt you, so
Thank you so much.
Thanks again.
Have a great evening. Thank you.
okay, we're ready for number 6, discussion regarding potential annexation of property into Elk Ridge. Would you identify yourself for the council and the attendees? Sir.
My name's Eric Hal Nicholson, Patty Nicholson. And with our request tonight, I don't want you to think we don't like Payson. We don't. We do most all of our commercial things here. In fact, we just purchased a new vehicle, Payson, medical, dental, and most of our life also. There is a map on the back. We're requesting 2 5-acre parcels on Gladstone Drive. That's what we're talking about. The big arrow points them out on north and south of Gladstone Drive. Our request is we're seeking to be allowed to be annexed into Elk Ridge City, both parcels. The reason? We want to develop the parcels total into a total of 11 to 12 home building sites. Payson City cannot provide water hookups. Elk Ridge City has hookups, and they're right to the east end of our property, of both properties. And let's see, and they have both water and sewer hookups there. Concerns, there is talk, do you know where Jeremy Witt, you know who I'm talking about from Hatchville?
I don't.
Okay. City manager, he's very good. I've talked, he knows about him, so, anyway, just north of us on the south side of the road, Jeremy Witt is trying to build a home, and so they're trying to bring the sewer in from the RV hookups up the hill past the clubhouse, and then up that Stand Drive. And he's kind of the head guy behind that. Anyway, but they're not bringing, there's no water. So Elk Ridge has offered a total of only 20 hookups that they will give to that project. And on that project, as we look at it, my share is 7 hookups. And so for me, this is not an economical, feasible option. Just, it just wouldn't. We do a lot of work for nothing, is what would happen.
We're residents, I guess you probably guessed that right now. We're residents of Elk Ridge, and this property is just below where we live and to the west of where we live, across Bloodstand Drive. So, as my husband mentioned, it's very near where water's available. And so for us to develop, we need to be able to have water to offer to sell the property to subdivide it. And Elk Ridge City is amenable to us being annexed. So that's what we're asking, is for permission from you to be annexed, or at least the property that borders where we live, to be annexed so that we can subdivide it.
We got down here, concerns been suggested that perhaps we annex the south side of the south 5 acres. So on this map, north is the top of the page. So it'll be the bottom one. Annex that into Elk Ridge and then keep the other in Payson. But there are potential problems with that. And, you know, they're not earth shattering, but, you know, there's snow removal, there's garbage pickup, road repairs, fire protection. Not that Payson doesn't have it, but Elk Ridge is much closer. And then Payson City may come in who knows, 3 months, 3 years, 5 years, 15 years, and put water into that area. And then if we have 2 different lines, then we're afraid that then we would have to put in another water line, another expenditure for the people who would be living there. And it's just easier to work with one city than 2. Now, of interest, full disclosure, my daughter's on the city council in Elk Ridge, and she's planning to build on one of these lots, and so she has a desire to stay in Elk Ridge. Options, number 1 is our preferred, be annexed, and Elk Ridge would be happy to annex us. And then we can receive our sufficient hookups to develop the property. 2, seek legal means, or 3, to do nothing and just leave it as it is, not really becoming a part of this unit that's going to come in from lower Gladstone Drive. Questions?
We could choose, yeah.
Well, I would like to know what our golf pro would like to see here. Tracy, if you could let us know that, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. First, I'd say I know Hal. He's a good man. He plays golf. I see him most mornings real early, 5:30 or 6. I don't know your wife, but they're good people. But to me, this isn't about Hal or people. We have a lot of good people in Elk Ridge, a lot of our neighbors. I guess some concerns with me is we have a beautiful golf course. We have a beautiful piece of land. It's Payson City's golf course. We build it. Our citizens, subsidize it some years they don't. It's Payson City's golf course. Elk Ridge reaps the rewards on that boundary of our beautiful golf course. And I know, and that's part of just where it happened to fall. I get that, but golf course lots traditionally across the U.S. go up to 2/3, even more in price because of that golf course. It's a beautiful piece of land. Where Hal lives is beautiful. It's whether there's a golf course there or not, but the golf course has made it really, really special. My next concern is, where do we stop if we keep allowing, a 5-acre piece here, a 10-acre piece? When does it ever come to Payson? Is it all going to be annexed into Elk Ridge and our whole perimeter of our golf course be Elk Ridge? That's a concern. I guess third is, we're really close. I know, and Hal addressed this, that maybe in 3, 5, 6 years, whatever, 3 months. But I would hope that you might consider waiting until our general plan is finished. We spend a lot of money on that. It's not just up by the golf course, but it's the whole east side of Payson, all the way down to I-15. So there's key components right here that could happen in the next year that could open up that land to be in Payson, just through growth that we all know about. below us. But with that amount of growth, it could, you know, it might make sense for us to get water up there and to service that land. And then I spoke with Travis a lot about that, and so I think we're close. Those are my main concerns. Again, it's nothing against the Mickelsons. They're great people. We enjoy Hal a lot. But I would like to see beautiful, nice homes in Payson City on Payson City's golf course.
Tracy?
Yeah.
I can't look at this and decide even where I am.
Okay.
The only thing that looks familiar is Joyce Collins on the base, on the thing.
Okay, so when you come through the gate, let's go through the gate.
Okay, I'm
now.
going through the gate.
Go through the gate with me, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't see the map, but.
Yeah, I know where the gate is, I'm up there every day.
Okay, but this is the road that goes out through the church.
Uh-huh.
And this is the road that goes to the golf course. So as soon as you turn on the golf course, all the gates. Right.
Yeah, I know what you're doing.
It's got to be right where it cuts off.
Okay,
So the gate's about right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the gate,
Gate's about 2/3 of the way between those two pieces of property.
you know the gate at the top of the hill, Linda?
What?
The
At top of the
gate,
hill?
uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
So it's 2/3 between the two pieces of property.
Oh.
So off of number 9 and then up to your house,
Oh,
I guess.
so
on that
one
side
on
of the road.
each side of the road.
Yes, both sides of the road.
Okay.
This is, you know,
Got it.
this is Silton Road.
Yeah.
Are there,
So what is that road?
are there any other questions for me, or?
Okay.
What is it zoned?
Right now, it's zoned R1A. It would have to be rezoned to probably develop it, because right now, we'd allow 1 unit per acre, is what we'd allow right now. So even with what he owns, we would allow 10 units on that property.
And what were you looking at?
11 and 12, and I haven't spoken to an engineer yet, so, but it's not gonna be more than 12. It might be 6 on one side, 5 on the other. That's kind of what I'm looking at now, but don't know for sure.
And if I heard you right, Elk Ridge we've got an agreement with Elk Ridge that we can have up to 20.
20,
Yeah.
yes, but they're taking up because they're both looking at developing that down toward, on both sides of the road, down toward
Oh,
the
okay.
clubhouse.
Okay.
So have you talked to Elk Ridge about the road? Are they gonna buy the road? Are you gonna buy the road? Payson owns the road.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
Well, I don't have any clue on that.
Okay. So, just a couple of things. Our golf course is really already isolated, so I struggle with this. And I know you're great people, but just, people already think it's Elk Ridge's golf course, and the more we pull Elk Ridge into the golf course, plus we're paying for the golf course, the citizens pay for it, that brings the value of your property way up because of the golf course that Payson citizens pay for, so.
Elk Ridge is getting the tax benefits.
Right. And
Provide water and.
Well,
and that's what I wanted, that's what I'd love to do
was saying.
is go to Elk Ridge and see if there's something else we can do with them to make it work for you. I'd like to work for you, but I'd like to work for Payson also, but I think we ought to go to Elk Ridge and see if there's something else we can do.
And you will do that.
We will do that.
You bet.
yes.
We'll approach, and since it's a discussion tonight, it's been very good discussion, and then we can continue to work.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to D, action items. We'll go to ranked choice voting. Sarah, I guess you're up if I don't choke to death here.
Okay, so back in December, you guys approved to participate in ranked choice voting, but we had until spring, they didn't get a deadline, but you finally get the deadline, you have until April 15th to opt out if you decide that you don't want to participate in ranked choice voting. So we are here bringing it to you again to let you have your final say whether or not you want to proceed with ranked choice or go with traditional. And we have Stan here, Stan Lockhart. He can answer any questions you have. But if we do $1,000 to disperse between those who participate in ranked choice voting. So if you have multiple cities, and the amount can be $2 per voter. So if you have a city that has a huge population, there may not be as much to disperse. We could get 0, we could get, the full amount. We just don't know what that could be. I talked to Stan about how the state's going to decide how to disperse that. He said they recommended first come, first served basis, but they haven't decided yet. I also asked Stan if he thought the county could handle this, because we know that last year's election was a nightmare. It was a mess. There was a lot of voters who had a terrible time voting, and it concerns me that if we go down this path that nobody's gone down before, blazing new trails, if we have another huge hiccup, are we going to lose the confidence of the voters? So I'm very cautious about that as well. But Stan has full confidence in the county's ability, so I'll let you ask any questions and he can fill those questions for you.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I have a of course. Council, what I've given to you is two things. First is your registered voters and just multiplying by 2 the amount of money you can get from the state. And you can use that in any way to promote ranked choice voting. It can be used for voter education. It can be used for a variety of other things dealing with your election issue. The other thing I did, I just put together a sample voter education program. It just gives you an idea of the types of things you do in order to help voters become familiar with ranked choice voting. Because that frankly is what everybody wonders about. Will voters understand how to prioritize and rank their choices rather than just marking the one dot? And in city after city after city, there are no more spoiled ballots in ranked choice voting than there are in the traditional election. So that tells me that they really do get it quickly and they'll figure it out.
Well, I'm already a fan of it, but so we are eliminating a primary, correct? So we'll have some savings. Do you know how much that'll save us, Sarah?
$18,000.
You actually have a choice. You can still run a primary if you want to.
What good would the primary
Right.
do?
It just,
They must allow it.
but it's about 18,000 that it would save us.
So that,
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say, as far as confusion goes, the way I see it, either the county can get a ballot in the mail or they can't. So beyond that, there's nothing to worry about. Like if they can get ballot A or ballot B, then the problems the county is gonna have is gonna be the problems the county is gonna have. They're not gonna be any different. The bigger question is educating the voter. And I think we can do that, but I'm not concerned because they're getting ballots in the mail regardless. So I don't see how that's more confusing personally.
Can I address that?
Yes.
The only concern is they have to buy new equipment that's equipped to run these kind of ballots, to calculate and count those. So that's why I'm concerned. Are they going to be equipped with the right equipment and know how to run these ballots through without, having a mess? Because they're also going to have, there's not very many that are involved in ranked choice voting. So far, it's only Lehigh, Vineyard, and us. Is that correct?
No, Representative Roberts told me to please tell you that Suri's not here. He's in Salem tonight doing the same thing.
We see where his priorities are.
Yeah.
Salem, Payson, and Vineyard right now. Those are still there.
Oh, did Lehigh back out? Okay, Lehigh backed out.
In answer to Sarah's comment, the county right now is buying new voter equipment. They just aren't satisfied with what they had in the past. And they want to get the very best voter equipment they have. So they're in the process, they'll have brand new equipment into place by the time this election comes up this year.
Regardless of the ballot that we use.
so who's still in then? Salem?
Vineyard,
Vineyard?
and Payson.
But none of those have had their meetings opt out yet, right? Vineyards
Meeting tonight.
and Vineyards tomorrow night?
Vineyard's actually next week.
Next week. So if we do it, we might be the only one that, and this includes everybody, Salt Lake County and everything, or just Utah County?
Well, so here's what's happened. There are some counties that don't have adequate equipment, and so those counties ended up in a tough space. Salt Lake County is one of those counties. So we had two cities, West Jordan and Cottonwood Heights, and they just could not persuade their county clerk to go ahead and upgrade their equipment in time for the election this year. In Utah County, it's different, but that's kind of what's happened around the state, is that they've been evaluating what kind of equipment they have. Do they really want to try this and be one of the pioneers of it, so to speak, be involved with the pilot? In the end, Utah County, Amelia Powers, the Chief Deputy Josh Daniels, Roseanne Mitchell, who will be their elections director, they're committed to making ranked choice voting work, and they really believe that it's a programming issue with the software. And every year they have to program it, and they go precinct by precinct, they find out what city you're in, and that's the way you get a ballot, is the way that the computer is programmed. And so they think that it's just a programming issue to say in an additional field that this is a ranked choice vote precinct, and that's really the only difference between this and a traditional election.
But they haven't tried it yet, so it's kind of still out there as.
Yes, although other cities around the country.
With the same equipment?
Same equipment. ES&S is what they're looking
I got a couple more questions for you. So when the ballot's sent out, we're gonna, try to educate everybody. When the ballot's sent out, send an education item with the ballot, or is that not legal?
No, it's a good question. I don't know the answer for sure. I believe it can.
On traditional ballots, they kind of have a brief.
Yeah.
This is how you fill out your circle, basically. So I would think that it's just like this is, I would think it would be hard. I mean, it might not be as in-depth as what some people might want, but.
If you look through this sample voter education guide, one of the things that you'll want to do is in a utility bill, you'll want to send some collateral materials explaining how this works. So in the month preceding the election, you'd send that out, that would start giving people some idea. The county wants to help as well with some additional funding. They'd like to do a video that is Utah County centric that you can also send to your citizens, or put on your website, or in a variety of ways. And if you go do a Google search right now, there are several cities around the country that have videos that show how it works. Does that come close to answering the question on how you would work?
Yeah, well, one of them, if we send it out in the utility bill, we have citizens that don't get billed from the city. And so that would cover most of them, but they're still, what?
You mean they don't look at their bill?
No, they don't
Give
get
me
it.
electronic or paper.
No, I don't get a bill from the city.
When you get your express bill paid, it doesn't have your bill on it?
We don't have a bill. Teresa doesn't have a bill. Everybody out in the annex does not get a bill from the city because they aren't on the city services. So.
I got you. I've seen most of the residents that we're asking when spring cleanup was, and everybody's like, it's in your bill. And, oh, I never look at that. I got it.
So I have one more question for you. So I'm trying to remember back, let's say that there's 4 people on the ballot and you're voting for 2. Let's say somebody, they're not educated well enough, but they just rank the first 2 and then it goes to the third staunch or whatever it is. Are they still counted? I can't remember exactly how that's counted.
Yeah, that would be considered an exhausted ballot.
And so they don't count anymore then?
Right, it'd be similar to the traditional voting exhausted ballot. When you vote for someone that doesn't move forward, your ballot ends up being exhausted because you made a choice and the people you chose didn't move on.
And I guess that's where I'm real challenged, because a lot of people might think, and that's an education thing, but first time through, they're going to maybe vote for 2, and then you're going down to the other people. If they, so I struggle with that part of it.
There's actually, so I want you to think of your own elections. There are all sorts of different strategies that candidates use to try to get elected. One of the strategies is just vote for me. I know you can vote for two, and this is in today's election with the traditional system. You can vote up to two, but just vote for me because it gives me a benefit. Now, it's just a strategy. But in the case where somebody would only vote for two, they may do it on purpose. You just don't know. So the key is to give them good voter education. And really, the key to this is to teach voters how it works. And once they get it, the exit polls coming out of ranked choice voting elections, if the people really like it, the polling that goes on when you talk to people, what do you think about this? They really like it. It allows them to stay in till the very end. And it allows them to get someone that if their favorite candidate doesn't win, their second favorite candidate may very well win.
And that's the concept. I'm just really concerned about.
But that's not different in the traditional voting. They vote for two people, and those two people take last place, and nothing's changed. That's what I don't.
If you go under traditional and go to a primary, it reduces the field down, so you're
So you do get a second,
yeah,
sure, but
you now get to cast your votes again.
well, I understand that, but when you're past the primary and you're in the general election, and we have two council members up and 4 people on the ballot, and they cast 2 votes, and neither one of those people win, then, I mean, I get it from the primary standpoint, but in the general election, that still happens.
But the probability that you would be sitting here under ranked choice is not the same as the type of voting that actually got you here. So if you would have been elected under ranked choice, there's a good chance.
Well, I understand that it changes the system, you know, just for the same thing. Like, I know that people that ran last time that didn't get elected, that told all their friends and family to vote for one person. That changed things. And so everything changes. I mean, that's not that big a deal, but it's how you got, I don't know, like if you make, I get the argument between the primary and the general, but if you're at the general election and I cast 2 votes for the people that don't win, my ballot's exhausted. And it's no different than in this scenario.
That's why you would cast for all 4.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah, but here's the thing is, let's say that the one you voted for, one of the 2 that you voted for, received the most votes, and then you go down, but they didn't get 50%, and then you go down to the 3rd staunch, they would receive the most votes, but then your vote doesn't count anymore for those people once you get down to the 3rd. So that's my concern.
An outcome could be that a third,
well, but they would drop if they got the most votes.
A 3rd or 4th person could take and leap forward when you start counting down through the ranks.
Sure.
If they aren't, and
but that means that that's the most preferred candidate.
But it doesn't usually happen that way. It's like the caucus.
I mean, the idea is that you're getting the most preferred candidate, not winning by attrition.
My concern is people not understanding.
Well, sure, I understand that.
It's not going to happen in a traditional manner, and there have been several lawsuits initiated because of those type of issues in areas that have been providing ranked choice voting, and those are my concerns about not being able to educate. I haven't had anybody that can actually sit down and tell me and follow down through how these votes happen, and what drops out when, and what's counted next, and what drops out when, and what's counted next. And it's difficult if you can't find an explanation that is detailed enough to be able to educate our citizenry in a manner that satisfies them.
So I feel that if they're going to vote, and I found this out in the last election, they're going to go and they're going to check out to see what has to be done. I don't know what our percentage was, what was it, 47% that voted?
It was pretty high for many cities.
So it was, they went and found out what it was they wanted to vote for. So I look at it that way. You can look at it, yeah, they can be confused, but if they really want to vote, they're going to find out how to do it the correct way, I feel. Not just, oh, I'm just going to vote for anybody because, oh, I've heard this name, I'll vote for them. this kind of forces you to have to go in and do a little bit of research on who you are voting for.
I just, in what I've been able to read on it, the expected outcome is not necessarily going to be the outcome. For example, there would be a possibility that one or two of you would not be sitting here under ranked choice voting.
Then I'm not the most preferred. I'm okay with that. The residents should be able to choose their most preferred candidate and not me because I want to be elected.
I guess I have to ask what you mean by their most preferred candidate, because if the people that got the most votes are exhausted, they didn't get 50% or more, and they're exhausted, that is a question I've never seen answered in a way that satisfies those.
So what you're saying is that the first round, they got more votes but because they didn't get the 50, yeah, 51%, then they go back in the pool and the people that would prevail that were different.
But they still get their same percentage, and then if they get more votes, then it just goes up from there.
So here, let me tell you the way that ranked choice voting works in a multiple candidate, multiple winner election. You go through a ranked choice vote election for one person. When that person gets over 50% in a given round, they're considered a winner. Then all the votes go back in, and they essentially go through it again until the second person wins. And so that's the way they're counted.
So if a person got 45% didn't get that, he could actually lose.
He could.
He or she.
Yeah.
But they did get 45%, and they could end up losing to somebody that didn't get that 45% in the first round.
Most of the time, the majority of the time, the outcomes are about the same as a traditional vote election. However, there are exceptions. There are times where someone will win a primary and lose a general election under a traditional system. Those things do happen. Mayor, you got about 60% in your primary last time. You got 70% in the general. Wouldn't it have been great to have only had to do it once? You were going to win, right? So that's really what ranked choice voting is all about. Do it once when most of the voters are voting. In our municipal primaries, we get terrible turnout. Even with vote by mail, we just don't get great turnout. The advantage of ranked choice voting is that you allow the most voters who are going to vote in that election to have the same vote.
What's our voter turnout for the primaries versus the general?
About half.
So we already have half of the ballots exhausted by non-participation.
Right.
Because, I mean, if those other half voted, you might, again, have a completely different scenario once again.
But then maybe they feel like they made a difference. If they,
No.
because you always hear a one vote doesn't matter because everybody wants this person or this person. Where if you do the ranked choice, you know, at least they can put down who they want, and then they feel like their vote counts. I mean, there's so many
The
scenarios.
scenario I saw, a person that ranked 6th in the first go around actually won the election. And they didn't go on to explain how that happened, but it was an amazing scenario in our current system to think that somebody in 6th place, as they go down through and votes are exhausted, that they could move up. They were actually on their way.
They went back on the East Coast?
This is actually an example in Ireland. And it was on the PBS podcast that just over this last weekend. And I would encourage you to listen to it because it was a surprising example of how this outcome was not predicted, nor was it expected, even by those who were in the election. She was on her way to the convention hall to concede, and she got a phone call saying you won. It was such an unexpected scenario. My concern is.
So everybody put their 6th. Nobody got the full vote.
Or they'll put her third.
Third, yeah, do something like that.
Yeah, I think we're 6 years one, but everybody put it third.
And say that my vote got counted in that manner. If I voted for the top one, and they would have gone on to, in the judicial election, gone on to a primary, and others would have now joined in and voted for one of the two runoff candidates, I guess what I can say is I understand that. But how in one counting of all of these different ranks, somebody that was third or lower comes and wins, I don't understand
Well,
how that
like,
is.
So I'll just tell you, when I was running, when they did the general, so many people came up to me and said, congratulations, and I'm like, well, there's another one. They didn't even have a clue. So I'm out there knocking on doors again, telling people, hey, there's another vote, you know, you need
Don't
to get
forget
out
to
and
vote the second time.
Because they really didn't know. I was surprised that it really kind of shocked me.
What you're saying is they didn't understand there would be a primary,
Yes.
or
A general election.
Yeah, a
general election.
Maybe I can give you an example. So these things happen in traditional elections. If you go back to the special election for Congress a year and a half ago, where Jason Chapin stepped down and we had an election, we had the caucus convention system, and the leaders coming out of the caucus convention system did not end up winning in that general election. And yet there was a sense that they were going to. And then Congressman Curtis, who took like 5th or 6th at the convention, he ended up getting the most popular votes. So surprises happen. There is, in every single election, you will find that there's a surprise or two that takes place. But the truth is, the majority of the time, the outcomes are very, very similar between a traditional election and a ranked choice election. And you just get to save the cost of the primary, you get to save all of the campaign that goes on before the primary, and you get to compress everything into the general election.
One question that I have that I hadn't thought about before is how is this disseminated to the people? Because like when you just vote, you know, you got the pollsters out there saying so-and-so's at 55. Well, cannot be Payson, nobody pays that close attention to us. But, you know, in the bigger elections, they do that. So do they say round 1 in and this is where everybody's at, and then round 2, and this do they give a breakdown, or do they just say at the end, this is who won?
This will be the most transparent election in the history of Payson City. Every round will be displayed. Now, of course, you won't have individual voters' names,
right,
but in a what's it called, an unidentified manner, sort of hard for it.
Anonymous.
Yeah, anyway, they de-identify the votes, and then you can see how it went round by round. And the other question that's kind of related to that is how do you announce the results? And
you wait a week?
Yeah, with vote by mail, we've already got the same problem, in that the winner the night of, sometimes after the rest of the votes come in, don't end up winning. So you've got exactly the same issue going on. The night of, you still have to wait until the rest of the mail-in ballots come in.
And you won't even have a guess because it could flip whoever has the most votes, and a week later it could be third or fourth. It could be really different.
Well, it is Payson. We'll probably have half this town running.
So if they opt 250, where does that go? So if we were to get, you know, 28,000, 30,000, and that comes into our budget, or 50,000 or 100,000, where would it go to?
Well,
No, we'd only get the $2 per
Okay,
vote.
so we can get like
18,000. Mostly it's 23,000.
Yeah, we'll get like 18,000. We have about 9,600 voters, so times that by 2. That's the most we can get, but we'll use it to educate voters. If you guys decide on this, we'll do whatever we can to put on Facebook posts, Instagram, website. We'll send out support mailers. We can get, so those who don't get utility billing, we can get the voter list from the county. We can send out, you know, informational stuff based on that. So we'll do whatever. If you guys decide to do this, we're all in. We'll support you. I'm kind of neutral. Whatever you decide, I'll support. But yeah, we'll educate, and we'll use that money to educate the voters.
And we know we're going to get the money because if there's only Vineyard, Salem, and Payson, there's going to be plenty of money.
The county will also get some money, and they will help you as well. The county, in the county's mind, they just want to be a support structure, so they might get to, I don't know specifically what they're going to get, but they could get up to $2 per voter as well, which would mean you get double the amount now to work on it.
Well, I don't worry about the computer. Amelia, she's an IT person anyway, and that was her platform when she was, she went in there with, hey, we are gonna bring this up to the 21st century. We're not gonna be in the 19th century anymore. I mean,
And she's been approved, the county's approved the money for the new machines. You should have, in the last month or so, gotten a letter from Amelia, just really praising ranked choice voting and encouraging citizens.
well, I trust her. I mean, I had quite a conversation with her. So, yeah, I think she's doing a really good job, and I think she'll continue to do a really good job.
We also have someone who Utah Ranked Choice Voting has hired to help Sarah and Amelia. Her name is Colleen Potter. She used to be the state elections officer under Governor Levitt and currently is the mayor of Heber City. And she'll be here helping you through this process.
Okay, any further discussion?
I was gonna ask Kim, she's been a recorder for years. That's not my forte, county thing. So you might wanna get her opinion.
Microphone.
So I've been doing elections since 1991. And elections have changed immensely throughout the years. And I think ranked choice voting is just another venue. And I'm all for it. My biggest concern is the education end of it. I think Sarah and I will be bombarded with phone calls. And that's just something we'll just have to work through, is the education process. In past elections that I've worked with, we've actually sent out little voter election cards to every resident. So if they're not getting a bill, there's other ways we can make contact, put information out on the website. They can watch the videos. And I've seen some really good videos. I'm kind of a picture person, and I've seen some really good videos, and I've seen some really bad videos that have addressed ranked choice voting. So I think there's a lot of ways we can address it, but it's just a new way of doing elections.
So, Sarah, can we get a part-time person for a couple of months to handle calls and take care of some of the load off?
Oh, that's what I was going to ask, is this individual you're just talking about, can we put her number for the contact list if they have questions?
Absolutely.
So we can use your person that's already hired? Can we put her name at the top so we can keep our people busy getting things built in the city?
That actually is why she was hired, is to help you, support you in any way you need.
Okay.
She might be living down here if we're the only one. Okay, not that I want to cut the time short, but I think we've really hashed it around pretty good. So any further discussion from the council?
I'm all for it. I do wish that, it doesn't matter now, but I wish I would have asked more about it to the community over the last 3 months, but yeah, I'm still in favor.
Okay.
We could have solicited feedback for the last 3 or 4 months.
Well, we've got some months to do.
Yeah, and we got plenty of time to advertise it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that being said, I think I'm ready for a motion.
All we really have to have is a motion to opt out, because we already made a motion to do it, so.
Okay. If needed, that's what it says on here, so. Then, are we opting in?
I don't think I have any votes for it, so, but I really like the idea, but I really still have some concerns, but.
We'll leave it at that then, if that's the feeling.
Thank you.
Council, there's an item that I would like to call forward if we could, but prior to doing that, since we just have real quick number 2 and number 3, I'd like to do those, and then I would ask somebody move that we would bring up our adjourned session, closed session. So let me go ahead and take care of these 2. Number 2, resolution appointment of planning commission members. We did interview 5 hopefuls for the planning commission. John Cowan, who is currently there, asked to be reappointed, and I believe he would be a good appointee. And out of the 5 that we interviewed Tyler Moore. So I would submit John Cowan and Tyler Moore to be part of our planning commission. Any discussion?
Yeah, I got one discussion, I'll make a motion. Just, it would have been nice to see a resume from the new person.
Yeah, I agree. In the past, we've had that. And
we don't know anything about him, but
anything is.
Tyler.
I'm sure they're both
I
great.
can tell you that it was very short.
But it still would have been nice to see the applications.
He attends everything. I mean, caucuses, he goes over, like the nothing, when we met with the Congress and the senators, he goes up to Salt Lake and he's in all of those different meetings, very, very into the community. He's, like, when there's something going on, he is there. I think he'll do an awesome job. He's just that kind of young man.
Okay. Yeah, it'd just be nice to have that. But anyway, I'll make a motion that we accept the appointments to the planning commission of John Cowan and Tyler Moore.
Second.
Second, motion been made and it's been seconded. We'll do a roll call vote, starting with Councilman Hewlett.
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. Going on to the number 3, resolution appointment of Board of Adjustment members. There is a current member that would like to be appointed to that council again, Donnie Buffton. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, same thing on this one. Did we advertise it?
No, this is an appointee to the mayor.
Oh, this is a mayor appointee. Okay. Then I will say, you probably talked to Donnie about this.
Yes, I have.
Okay, she let you know that she would like to actually do something.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I remember that.
If we appoint people, we should have them do their job.
Yeah, she's fully.
Okay, all right.
I don't think we really have anything ever go to the Board of Adjustments.
Not very often, but she's willing to be there. So I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve Donnie Buffton to the Board of Adjustment.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote starting with Councilwoman Hyde.
Aye.
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 Okay, council, I would ask for a motion to bring forward our closed session due to the fact that we have some attorneys here that would like to talk to us, and would very much like to get them on their way after our closed session. So I'd entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Do we roughly have an idea how long this will take for the people that are here that want to be back? Is this going to be a long drag out, or is this going to be a short?
Mitch, if you want to. I'm one of the attorneys referenced. To some extent, it'll be up to you good folks on questions you may have that we can provide answers to. I would think that we could probably give you what you need to know in an hour or so.
I have a motion.
We've got a motion on the table. We have
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote, starting with Councilman Hewlett. Okay.
So, what do we got?
What we got left on the agenda here?
We've got a conditional use permit for,
You know, I think most of this is gonna go fairly quickly. I'd rather not have our citizens have to, and everybody have to wait, and I'd rather pay our attorneys a little bit extra. So I'm gonna withdraw my motion.
Okay, motion's withdrawn. We'll go on.
Let's make it fast, guys.
I'm not sure this is a quick one.
Okay. Okay, we'll go on to number 4. A conditional use permit for St. Peter and Paul Orthodox Church to construct religious facilities at approximately 1200 South and 1950 West. Daniel?
I'll make it that we table that till Daniel gets here and go to Ron.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll go number 5. Oh, Daniel's on the second one, next one down too. Oh, that's okay. Number 5, discussion regarding the Holloway Flats annexation located adjacent to SR 198 to 100 South between 1300 East and 1500. Yeah, that's been tabled, so we'll go ahead and table that. Well, do I need a motion
Do we need to
to
vote to table or we just?
that? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to table
Need a
this.
motion? Okay, I make the motion, we table item 5, the Old West Flats annexation discussion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Number 6, resolution, UAMPS agreements, staff presentation, Ron.
Okay, just nutshell, these are renewals of existing contracts we already have with UAMPS. They allow us, one, the APPA, one is a national organization we belong to that helps watch the capital of our country on regarding public power issues. The WAPA power, that contract allows us to buy market power through the Western Power Administration, and we can use the federal transmission system, which saves us about 6 mils per kilowatt hour, which is big savings. And then a pool appendage is something that we do, I think it's every 4 years. It just it does the rules of us scheduling and buying power through the U.S. pool. And staff and market review that and all as well.
So we have to make a motion on each resolution?
Yes,
or can we
each
do-
one, we have to have the 3 of them.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm open for a motion on, how do we have to word the, is it WAPA?
Yeah, Western Power Administration.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion on WAPA.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution for the WAPA.
Is there a second?
I'll second it, sorry.
Okay, calls for a roll call vote, starting with Councilwoman Hyde.
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. The next one, is that APPA?
Yes.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for APPA.
I'll make a motion that we approve the APPA resolution.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion is made, it's been seconded. Roll call vote, starting with Councilman Hewlett.
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Third one, is that the pool?
Yes.
Okay, entertain a motion on pool.
I would make a motion that we approve the pooling appendix with as a member of the internal generation scheduling procedures.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, calls for a roll call vote. Councilwoman Hyde. Aye.
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 Motion carries. That's done with number 6. Thank you, Ron. Resolution interlocal agreement with Utah County regarding vote by mail. Oh, Daniel, we'll go back number 4 then. Conditional use permit for St. Peter and Paul Orthodox Church to construct religious facilities at approximately 1200 South and 1950 West. Okay, Daniel, you got the floor.
There we go. Okay, now I'm ready. Okay, so, what?
Mine's having issues.
Oh, it's having issues. Okay, so this is the initial use permit for St. Peter and Paul Orthodox Church with the Planning Commission a few weeks ago, and received a recommendation of approval from the Planning Commission. A few items were brought up from neighbors, but they're administrative things for our engineers and their engineers to take a look at. I don't recall any concerns about the use being there, just making sure that some engineering things are taken care of. And I think that the minutes were in the final packet from that. So I'll briefly go through here. Locations on the west side, and it's currently zoned A5H, so that's ag holding zone. And the proposal is for a facility to be built in stages, starting with a smaller chapel and working its way up to a larger chapel with a general assembly area as well as a parsonage home for the father, and as well as a cemetery to be on site. And that will be done in phases, and with that there's a deferral. And so certain of the utilities will come at different stages. So proposal, this is the initial chapel to be built. This is their initial proposal. It's not a building permit, so there could be modifications to the elevation. And the final phase church will be much larger, this Byzantine style. You can see here. Again, these are churches that are already built in other areas, so it's not an exact portrayal of the church to be built here. Phasing plan, so this was in the packet in the staff report. So phase 1, you have a portion of the parking lot, not all of the parking lot, as well as that initial chapel and the parsonage home. Phase 2 would extend to the cemetery and a little bit of the parking. Phase 3, you have the main chapel and more parking. And then phase 4, you have the assembly building. And so there's the phase 1 site plan. With the code, so this is the conditional use. To go over conditional use real quick, it means that the use is permitted in the zone. It just means simply that if there are impacts that are greater than a use that's typically permitted in that zone, then the council and planning commission take steps to mitigate those disproportionate impacts. And so that would be things like hours of operation, noise, lighting, number of participants or building height, those kind of things. So this means that the use is not allowed. So the use is permitted, and the criteria for conditional use permit are laid out right here. There's 12 criteria. We went through them briefly in the staff report, and I think staff and planning commission is under the opinion that they can meet all 12 of these. So a lot of the items are kind of subjective, soft science measures like harmony with the area and how it fits with adjacent development, future development, those kind of things. Then let's see. I thought I had one that was like, whoa, that took me all the way out. Okay.
So who owns this piece of property? Or they bought it?
They purchased it.
Who owned it before?
Annette Gardner. Gardner.
I thought I had a slide showing development in the area, but apparently I don't. This property is south of where we could see a node for development. There could be educational facilities to the north. The general plan would be looking at housing, I think, to the east and west and south of this property. At a mix of densities that, as we know, the general plan's not ironed out. We're still working through it. We have townhomes, not adjacent, but towards the east. We could see some townhomes coming west, or single-family detached homes, depending on what happens with properties to the north. But we anticipate this would be more of a residential area, but it could be part of a nodal residential area. And are there any questions for staff at this time? I think that covers most of it. Again, public hearing was held at the planning commission level, so there's not a public hearing tonight. The applicants are here, so if you'd like to hear from them, you're welcome to ask. And then, along with the approval, if you have a conditional use, and also the deferral, and that deferral would be consistent with the phasing plan. So it's adopting the phasing plan as deferrals. And the deferrals that you're requesting relate to better sidewalk, roadway improvements, utility connections.
I attended that public hearing and, just wanted to maybe reiterate some of the things that were brought up there for council's consideration. There was a concern about groundwater, especially in regards to the planned cemetery. There was a concern about the septic tank that, again, because of the groundwater, One thing that I would add there, that concern is going to have to be a county issue, because they're the ones that control those types of things, from what I understand.
The septic, yes.
Yeah, the septic tank. And then there was another concern about the widening of the roads and making sure that it could handle the traffic. So those are the three concerns that I remember that were brought up. Just bring them up for the council's knowledge.
And with widening of the roads, I did go out there after that conference meeting, and to their point, the roads are pretty narrow. They'll expand with development, and I think we're all anticipating that development will occur. I know there's a side of, I think, of all of us that wants to keep kind of a pastoral setting out there, but we recognize that their development will be part of expanding the road, and development around them, and we anticipate that development will occur. And that will resolve a lot of those concerns with the width of the road. And then with future accesses, there'll be more access points to the south as development grows to the south. So that will help flow traffic.
So you met with the fire chief about access for fire trucks and everything, that's okay?
Yeah, all of the DRC staff is
okay.
So if the development doesn't happen, I'm just looking at some of these comments too about being able to turn around a truck and things like that. Can they turn around their trucks? Can they get around out there? Like you said they were narrow.
Yeah, you have to turn it into someone's property.
Right.
Okay, well that seems like a concern if you've got to divert traffic into someone else's property.
That's already existing, even if this doesn't go through.
The trucks can pull into their property.
Yeah, the trucks can pull into property in question and turn around.
So there shouldn't be any parishioners or congregation members that would be pulling onto private property.
Where's Larry Brown live?
Larry,
He's right there. So where do you live?
right next door.
Right next door.
Only he lives in Payson, Larry. You have property out there?
You have a home.
A rental house. A
If
rental.
you widen the road,
Okay.
it
I
takes
wanted
out
to
all the
make that
structures.
clear.
All the structures, because the structures are on the part to be wide. You have to widen it. You can't even hardly get two cars down it now. If you widen it, you're taking out all the structures, at least 4 structures on the road.
And that would be a leeway, a county leeway, if there is a county leeway. That's how that would be addressed, is my understanding. But which would transfer to the city when it was annexed. So I have no idea where that leeway is, but I believe that's in general what would happen. You got something you'd like to say?
Well, the only roads that would be widened are right directly along, adjacent to their property. The other roads won't widen until the development of their property happens. So, I mean, whether the road stays small like it is, obviously it's going to, until such time as they sell their property or decide to develop it. So, we're not going to go in and widen their property at our cost.
Are they going to widen the road that the church is coming out on?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to widen that one, then you're going to stop right after that property?
Yes. That's how development works. That's how we do
Well,
it.
but what I'm getting at, so if they park beyond that widening and we can't get our vehicles through, what do we do?
They have plenty of room on their site for their parishioners, so they.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. Because, I have nothing against the church going out. What I'm here for is to find out my information, because I wasn't able to be here. So if they park out on the road,
They
and we
shouldn't be
can't,
parking on the road.
even during development.
No, they have, their contractors should be on the site and building and doing they shouldn't be on the road other than if they're doing improvements on the road. That's the only time they should be on the road.
Every time they come out, they're on the road.
Well, there's currently no development on the site, and so I don't know why people are going out there right now unless they're doing some studies or they're looking at the property, but there's currently not a parking lot. That will be built, and that will be one of the very first things, because they'll need to access the property to construct. So you can see right here with the proposal, in fact, maybe the better one is the phasing. With the phasing, there's a parking lot, and that parking lot gets expanded with each phase. And their parking has met our ordinance, which looks at how many off-street parking spaces are required. I don't want to guarantee that it's sufficient, but in our experience, we typically have parking lots that don't get over full. We tend to be over-parked, not under-parked in Payson. That, again, I can't say that as a guarantee that, popular events will bring more people out, but that is something that's been reviewed at the staff level.
Well, I wondered if they're talking, so I know when they've been doing those townhomes, they've had a hard time getting down that road.
During construction?
Yeah, during construction, I think that's what they're worried about, because these people live past where he's building, and so they want to make sure that that construction is off the road, because it is a very narrow road. So even to get two cars down, you're pretty close to each other.
Right.
So that's, I'm pretty sure that's one of their concerns.
Right.
They came down in the fall and with their congregation, and there was cars from the corner around all the way past several parcels down, and everybody on the street was like, "What is going on?" So they mentioned in the last time that they're going to have a cemetery, so they'll probably have funerals, they'll probably have weddings. I mean, there's cars, people come.
By that time, I would hope there'd be a parking lot there.
Right, but
Where there wasn't before.
And with
in the
cemetery,
ordinance
you see
it said
expansion of parking.
harmony, noise, glare.
There's nothing.
Oh no, not at a wedding. Nobody's going to
Well-
be celebrating.
There's not too many noises at an LDS wedding at an LDS chapel, so I've officiated at some of those.
Unless your wedding was different than mine, it was fairly quiet.
Right, but there's usually dancing and other things afterwards.
The reception,
Reception.
well, that's typical.
But it's still gonna add
But
a lot of
it's
traffic.
going to add to that, and then they're gonna need the parking lot to sustain those cars.
Right, and they will be in the parking lot, and they shouldn't be parked outside where you can't
Oh,
go up and down.
I think to her point, and we should never be off of our parking lots too, but there's a few times every year that people are out of their parking lots in church stuff. But that's only a handful of times. I mean, your first incident, I mean, they're excited to be building a church. Where else are they gonna park when they go look at it? That's not really a measurement for me, but sometimes churches do overflow with meetings, and that is a concern, whether they have enough parking.
Daniel, with what was being presented tonight, the conditional use, what does that allow? Where are we at in the process?
What is the conditional use? The conditional use is, thanks for mentioning that. The conditional use is tied to the project. So it's tied to this Orthodox church coming with this proposal to that property. So it stays with the property. So if the church, as in if St. Peter and Paul Orthodox Church were to want to move and acquire a different piece of property, they would need to obtain a new conditional use for that property. But the conditional use at this property would remain, and so a new church could say, purchase this and come in and continue operating as a church under the same approval. But it's very much tied to these buildings, this layout, more or less this kind of church coming.
Could say the county denied their application for a septic tank. If and when, whether this is passed, or say it's passed, and that happens, that there is no opportunity for it.
Zoning would not trump that. This is just stating that under the zoning laws, they're allowed to come. They still need to meet fire codes, building codes, health codes, health department codes. Yeah.
And so if the sewer comes out there, then they would have to look onto it.
Well, we all do.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
We all.
Could I speak to that a little bit, just to say that one event was we just got the property, we were super excited to pay it off.
Sure.
We just came into the blessing of the property. But
Understand.
I definitely get that. We would, of course, have parking, and, I mean, it's gonna start off pretty small. I mean, it's not gonna be a lot of people. I mean, maybe we're having 100 people at first, a lot, I mean, that's, and, so I want to assure, like, those are kind of just one-off situations. We have a special blessing of the property or something, but certainly, we'd have plenty of parking, wouldn't be planning to be on the road, that's for sure.
I appreciate all the comments that have been made, although this is not a public hearing, but I do appreciate the comments that have been made. And I'll turn to the council and see if there's any further discussion they'd like.
I was really excited when I saw the first image because it looked like Petite Meat. But then I saw this image and that is really cool. That's a good looking building.
And I saw who the architect was when he walked through the door. So I'm really excited, Mr. Harris.
Any other comments?
Can I go back to that one slide that shows the approvals? There we go. Yep, that's it. So I make a motion that we approve the conditional use permit with the deferral agreement for the phasing plan, and just with a caveat that we try as hard as we can when they're doing construction to make sure the construction vehicles are on the site and not parking on the road.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, there's been a motion made, it's been seconded.
Can I ask?
You bet.
Did you add that if you condition on the staff's listed elements?
I did not, so add all the staff findings.
This does not call for a roll call vote, so all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
So I will make a motion now that we go to closed session, leave Sarah for a little later, if that's okay.
Okay, this calls for a roll call vote. Motion's been made and second, starting with Councilwoman Hyatt. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.